Welcome back. I did finish uploading, charging the camcorder. I've been out shopping with food. Let's try finish reading this, but need to close the door. So it still feels very hot in my apartment, like a greenhouse. 26, and now the sun is shining again. But it's Friday, I got my pension today. Friday, but I have to wait for Monday to pay my rent, apartment and bills. Wednesday I have to pay $350. So I just like to reading till the sun go down. So I did buy a little bit more food. Some fresh bread, flute, baguette, more sandwich bread, hummus, dark bread, some German ham. Costs like $5, and cheese another $5. Cheese and more cheese on discount, and yogurt, but no chips or snacks or candy. Now the sun shines again, and now the temperature will get up again. So I will read till the sun get down again. I will make a video in my language, Danish, after reading this. Let's try to continue.
And 8. International treaties. Other weapons, such as landmines, have been held in many countries under specific legal instruments for several years, notably the Ottawa Treaty to ban landmines, and some of the protocols in the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons that also help clearing the lands contaminated by left munitions after the end of conflicts and provides international assistance to the affected populations. However, until the adoption of the Convention on Cluster Munitions in Dublin in May 2008, cluster bombs were not banned by any international treaty and were considered legitimate weapons by some governments. To increase pressure for governments to come to an international treaty on the 13th of November 2003, the Cluster Munition Coalition, CMC, was established with the goal of addressing the impact of cluster munitions on civilians. International governmental deliberations in the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons turned on the broader problem of explosive remnants of war, a problem to which cluster munitions have contributed in a significant way. There were consistent calls from the Cluster Munition Coalition, the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, and a number of UN agencies, joined by approximately 30 governments, for international governmental negotiations to develop specific measures that would address the humanitarian problems cluster munitions pose. This did not prove possible in the conventional multilateral forum. After a reversal in the US position, in 2007 deliberations did begin on cluster munitions within the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons. There was a concerted effort led by the US to develop a new protocol to the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, but this proposal was rejected by over 50 states, together with civil society, ICRC and UN agencies. The discussions ended with no result in November 2011, leaving the 2008 Convention on Cluster Munitions as the single international standard on the weapons. In February 2006, Belgium announced its decision to ban the weapon by law. Then Norway announced a national moratorium in June and Austria announced its decision in July to work for an international instrument on the weapon. The international controversy over the use and impact of cluster munitions during the war between Lebanon and Israel in July and August 2006 added weight to the global campaign for a ban treaty. Ugandan demonstrator at the May 2008 Dublin Conference for the Convention on Cluster Munitions. A new flexible multilateral process similar to the process that led to the ban on anti-personnel landmines in 1997, the Ottawa Treaty, began with an announcement in November 2006 in Geneva as well at the same time by the government of Norway that it would convene an international meeting in early 2007 in Oslo to work towards a new treaty prohibiting cluster munitions. 49 governments attended the meeting in Oslo 22-23 February 2007 in order to reaffirm their commitment to a new international ban on the weapon. A follow-up meeting in this process was held in Lima in May where around 70 states discussed the outline of a new treaty. Hungary became the latest country to announce a moratorium and Peru launched an initiative to make Latin America a cluster munition-free zone. In addition, the ICRC held an experts meeting on cluster munitions in April 2007 which helped clarify technical, legal, military and humanitarian aspects of the weapon with a view to developing an international response. Further meetings took place in Vienna on 4-7 December 2007, and in Wellington on 18-22 February 2008 where a declaration in favor of negotiations on a draft convention was adopted by more than 80 countries. In May 2008 after around 120 countries had subscribed to the Wellington Declaration and participated in the Dublin Diplomatic Conference from 19 to the 30th of May 2008. At the end of this conference, 107 countries agreed to adopt the Convention on Cluster Munitions, that bans cluster munitions and was opened for signature in Oslo on 3-4 December 2008 where it was signed by 94 countries. In July 2008, United States Defense Secretary Robert M. Gates implemented a policy to eliminate by 2018 all cluster bombs that do not meet new safety standards. In November 2008, ahead of the signing conference in Oslo, the European Parliament passed a resolution calling on all European Union governments to sign and ratify the convention. On the 16th of February 2010 Burkina Faso became the 30th state to deposit its instrument of ratification for the Convention on Cluster Munitions. This means that the number of states required for the convention to enter into force had been reached. The treaty's obligations became legally binding on the 30 ratifying states on the 1st of August 2010 and subsequently for other ratifying states. Convention on Cluster Munitions. Main Article, Convention on Cluster Munitions. Taking effect on the 1st of August 2010, the Convention on Cluster Munitions bans the stockpiling, use and transfer of virtually all existing cluster bombs and provides for the clearing up of unexploded munitions. It had been signed by 108 countries, of which 38 had ratified it by the affected date, but many of the world's major military powers including the United States, Russia, India, Brazil and China are not signatories to the treaty. The Convention on Cluster Munitions entered into force on the 1st of August 2010, 6 months after it was ratified by 30 states. As of the 26th of September 2018, a total of 120 states had joined the convention, as 104 states parties and 16 signatories. For an updated list of countries, see Convention on Cluster Munitions /State Parties. United States Policy. According to the U.S. State Department, The U.S. suspended operational use of cluster munitions in 2003. However, Amnesty International published a report that the U.S. used them in Yemen during the 2009 Al-Majala camp attack. U.S. arguments favoring the use of cluster munitions are that their use reduces the number of aircraft and artillery systems needed to support military operations, and if they were eliminated, significantly more money would have to be spent on new weapons, ammunition, and logistical resources. Also, militaries would need to increase their use of massed artillery and rocket barrages to get the same coverage, which would destroy or damage more key infrastructures. The U.S. was initially against any CCW limitation negotiations, but dropped its opposition in June 2007. Cluster munitions have been determined as needed for ensuring the country's national security interests, but measures were taken to address humanitarian concerns of their use, as well as pursuing their original suggested alternative to a total ban of pursuing technological fixes to make the weapons no longer viable after the end of a conflict. In May 2008, then Acting Assistant Secretary of State for Political Military Affairs Stephen Mull stated that the U.S. military relies upon cluster munitions as an important part of their war strategy. Mull emphasized that U.S. forces simply cannot fight by design or by doctrine without holding out at least the possibility of using cluster munitions. The U.S. Army ceased procurement of GMLRS cluster rockets in December 2008 because of a submunition dud rate as high as 5%. Pentagon policy was to have all cluster munitions used after 2018 to have a submunition unexploded ordnance rate of less than 1%. To achieve this, the Army undertook the Alternative Warhead Program, AWP, to assess and recommend technologies to reduce or eliminate cluster munition failures, as some 80% of U.S. military cluster weapons reside in Army artillery stockpiles. In July 2012, the U.S. fired at a target area with 36 Guided Multiple Launch Rocket System, GMLRS, unitary warhead rockets. Analysis indicated that capability gaps existed as cluster munitions require approval by the combatant commander, which reduced the advantage of responsive precision fire. The same effect could have been made by 4 alternative warhead, AW, GMLRS rockets under development by the AWP to engage the same target set as cluster munitions. Without access to the AW, the operation required using 9 times as many rockets, cost 9 times as much, $3.6 million compared to $400,000, and took 40 times as long, more than 20 minutes compared to less than 30 seconds, to execute. Starting with the Omnibus Appropriations Act, 2009, PL 111-8, Annual Consolidated Appropriations Act legislation has placed export moratorium language on cluster weapons since then. On the 19th of May 2011, the Defense Security Cooperation Agency issued a memorandum prohibiting the sale of all but the CBU-97B CBU-105 sensor fused weapon because the others have been demonstrated to have an unexploded ordnance rate of greater than 1%. On the 30th of November 2017, the Pentagon put off indefinitely their planned ban on using cluster bombs after 2018, as they had been unable to produce submunitions with failure rates of 1% or less. Since it is unclear how long it might take to achieve that standard, a months-long policy review concluded the deadline should be postponed. Deployment of existing cluster weapons is left to commanders' discretion to authorize their use when deemed necessary until sufficient quantities of safer versions are developed and fielded. Users. Countries. At least 25 countries have used cluster munitions in recent history, since the creation of the United Nations. Countries listed in bold have signed and ratified the Convention on Cluster Munitions, agreeing in principle to ban cluster bombs. Countries listed in italic have signed, but not yet ratified the Convention on Cluster Munitions. 1. Armenia. 2. Azerbaijan. 3. Bahrain. 4. Colombia. 5. Egypt. 6. / Ethiopia. 7. Eritrea. 8. France. 9. Georgia. 10. / Iraq. 11. Israel. 12 / Libya. 13. Morocco. 14. Netherlands. 15. Nigeria, responsibility denied. 16. Russia. 17. Saudi Arabia. 18. / South Africa. 19. Sri Lanka, responsibility denied. 20. Sudan. 21. Syria. 22. Thailand. 23. United States. 24. Ukraine. In addition, at least 3 countries that no longer exist, the Soviet Union, Yugoslavia and the Democratic Republic of Afghanistan, used cluster bombs. In some cases, the responsibility or even the use of cluster munition is denied by the local government. Non-state armed groups. Very few violent non-state actors have used cluster munitions and their delivery systems due to the complexity. As of August 2019, cluster munitions have been used in conflicts by non-state actors in at least 6 countries. 1. Croatian militia. 2. Hezbollah. 3. Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. 4. Northern Alliance. 5. / Serbian militia. 6. Separatist forces of the war in Donbas. Producers. At least 31 nations have produced cluster munitions in recent history, since the creation of the United Nations. Many of these nations still have stocks of these munitions. Most, but not all, of them are involved in recent wars or long unsolved international conflicts. However, most of them did not use the munitions they produced. Countries listed in bold have signed and ratified the Convention on Cluster Munitions, agreeing in principle to ban cluster bombs. As of February 2024, countries marked with an asterisk, officially ceased production of cluster munitions. Countries marked with 2 asterisks, unofficially ceased production of cluster munitions. 1. Belgium asterisk. 2. Bosnia and Herzegovina asterisk. 3. Brazil. 4. Chile asterisk. 5. China. 6. Croatia asterisk. 7. Egypt. 8. France asterisk. 9. Germany asterisk. 10. Greece asterisk. 11. India. 12. Iran. 13. / Iraq asterisk. 14. Israel asterisk. 15. Japan asterisk. 16. Netherlands asterisk. 17. North Korea. 18. South Korea. 19. Pakistan. 20. Poland. 21. Romania asterisk. 22. Russia. 23. Singapore asterisk. 24. Slovakia asterisk. 25. South Africa asterisk. 26. Spain asterisk. 27. Sweden asterisk. 28. Taiwan. 29. Turkey asterisk. 30. United Kingdom asterisk. 31. United States asterisk. Countries with stocks. As of September 2022, at least 51 countries have stockpiles of cluster munitions. Countries listed in bold have signed and ratified the Convention on Cluster Munitions, agreeing in principle that their stockpiles should be destroyed. Countries listed in italic have signed, but not yet ratified the Convention on Cluster Munitions. Countries marked with an asterisk, are in the process of destroying their stockpiles. 1 Algeria, 2 Azerbaijan, 3 Bahrain, 4 Belarus, 5 Brazil, 6 Bulgaria asterisk, 7 Cambodia, 8 China, 9 Cyprus, 10 Egypt, 11 Eritrea, 12 Estonia, 13 Ethiopia, 14 Finland, 15 Georgia, 16 Greece, 17 India, 18 Indonesia, 19 Iran, 20 Israel, 21 Jordan, 22 Kazakhstan, 23 North Korea, 24 South Korea, 25 Kuwait, 26 Libya, 27 Morocco, 28 Oman, 29 Pakistan, 30 Peru asterisk, 31 Poland, 32 Qatar, 33 Romania, 34 Russia, 35 Saudi Arabia, 36 Serbia, 37 Singapore, 38 Slovakia asterisk, 39 South Africa asterisk, 40 Sudan, 41 Syria, 42 Taiwan, 43 Thailand, 44 Turkey, 45 Turkmenistan, 46 United Arab Emirates, 47 United States, 48 Uzbekistan, 49 Venezuela, 50 Yemen, 51 Zimbabwe. Financiers. According to Bank Track, an international network of NGOs specializing in control of financial institutions, many major banks and other financial corporations either directly financed or provided financial services to companies producing cluster munition in 2005-2012. Among other, Bank Track 2012 report names ABN AMRO, Bank of America, Bank of China, Bank of Tokyo, Mitsubishi UFJ, Barclays, BBVA, BNP Paribas, Citigroup, Commerzbank AG, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, Credit Agricole, Credit Suisse Group, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, Industrial Bank of China, Inc. Group, JP Morgan Chase, Korea Development Bank, Lloyds TSB, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Royal Bank of Canada, Royal Bank of Scotland, Sberbank, Societe Generale, UBS, Wells Fargo. Many of these financial companies are connected to such producers of cluster munitions as Alliant Tech Systems, China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation, Hanwha, Norinco, Singapore Technologies Engineering, Textron, and others. According to Pax Christi, a Netherlands-based NGO, in 2009, around 137 financial institutions financed cluster munition production. Out of 137 institutions, 63 were based in the US, another 18 in the EU, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy etc. 16 were based in China, 4 in Singapore, 3 in each of Canada, Japan, Taiwan, 2 in Switzerland, and 4 other countries had one financial institution involved. See also 1 anti-runway penetration bomb, 2 ban advocates, 3 bomb disposal, 4 canister shot, 5 demining, 6 mines advisory group, 7 fair scale of injuries due to cluster munitions, 8 cluster munition coalition, 9 list of cluster bombs. References.